We welcome you all to our Zoom meeting on volunteering for the SDGs, an avenue for youth in building soft and employability skills. Center for Volunteering and Social Transformation was founded on the vision of promoting the values of volunteerism, empowering people and corporate organizations for community development with a culture of service. We believe in the principles of understanding the act of charity and knowing the immense potential of volunteerism in youth development and empowerment, peace building, and national development. We are positioned to advocate for and support the promotion of volunteerism for the achievement of sustainable development goals. We inspire people to give back to society through service as we practically take up social intervention projects with support from partners and donor agencies. Our session today will explore and discuss volunteering opportunities for the SDGs, how soft and employability skills are essential for successful job recruitment, how the youth can take advantage of volunteerism to build their capacity in basic work ethics to meet employers' expectations. We have put together experts and practitioners from volunteerism and human resource management to discuss today's topic. Our moderator is an HR and organizational development practitioner. She holds an MBA, Human Resource Management with specialization in training and development, an MA in Development Communication. She has trainings in protocol, diplomacy and etiquette, project management, advanced communication and organizational development in various countries. She is currently at the Gempa Law School. She has 15 years of professional and practical experience in the field of general administration, human resource management, and project management. She has worked with Millennium Development Authority, UNICEF Ghana, Anglo Gold Ashanti Limited, or Boise, Capital Group Limited, and State Insurance Company, and a team member of corporate partners in Ghana. She is a member of the Institute of Organization Development and also a member of Administrative Professional Association of Ghana. She currently works at the Office of the Administrator General under the Presidency Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Madam Akosia Chirwa Boateng.
Many thanks, Odako. I am pleased to moderate this webinar with three experienced and renowned speakers from the fields of volunteerism and human resource management. First of all, let me welcome all our participants connecting from different locations across the world to this webinar. We will be having three speakers to share their rich experience and knowledge on the topic, volunteering for the sustainable development goals, an avenue for youth in building their soft and employability skills. There will be a question and answer segment, and participants should feel free to drop their questions in the chat box, which will be addressed accordingly. To kickstart, let me introduce our speakers for the session. Our first speaker is Belinda Imebobo Banuma. She is a young woman who believes in inclusive participation for community development. She holds a bachelor's degree in English and French and a master's degree in migration studies, both from the University of Ghana. She is an advocate for youth engagement and volunteerism as tools for achieving sustainability. She currently works as the Volunteering Development Officer at France Volontaires, Ghana, where she recruits and trains volunteers, engages different CSOs, and coordinates volunteer exchanges between Ghana and France. Madam Belinda, you're most welcome. We're privileged to have you.
Thank you very much.
Our second speaker is Dr. Nkuruka Elizabeth Okeze. She holds a doctorate and a master's degree in guidance and counseling. She is a professional counselor and a senior lecturer in one of Nigeria's federal colleges of education. She's currently a member of the International Association of Volunteers Efforts Board of Directors representing the region of Africa. She is an active volunteer under the auspices of the Association of Nigerian Volunteers carrying out community development projects, humanitarian activities, youth mentoring, and hospice care. She is also a member of the Directorate of Urban Volunteer Services at her college, whose focal point is literacy through education for community schools. This is usually achieved through debates, quizzes, workshops, seminars, and entrepreneurial skills development for different categories of learners. Dr. Okeze, you're most welcome to this web.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Grateful. And to our last speaker, she is a certified human resource management professional with the Society of Human Resource Management, USA. She graduated from the University of Ghana with a bachelor's in arts, with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Sociology, and has an MBA Human Resource Management from Central University. She started her HR career 15 years ago, managing HR functions, including recruitment, selection assessments, performance management, learning and development, change management programs, and employee safety and well-being, in line with local and global policies, meeting the evolving needs of employer organizations. She has worked in various HR functional roles in multinational organizations, SNV Netherlands, Development Organization, British Council, ActionAid Ghana, and she's a senior HR officer with the Ghana International School and a senior member of Corporate Partners Ghana Consultancy Group. Her name is Madam Agnes Mensah. Madam Agnes, you're most welcome. We're privileged to have you.
Thank you very much, Madam Akusiache-Wakwati. I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Right. We will kickstart to discuss the topic volunteering for sustainable development goals as an avenue for youth in building soft and employability skills. To my distinguished speakers, I will start with Madame Belinda to share her take on the topic and the role that France Volunteer for volunteerism. Madame Belinda, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope everyone can hear me. So I am so excited about this webinar. Thank you for the opportunity. And I believe that volunteering is very important in our world today, especially with the pandemic and all the crisis associated with COVID, because it wasn't just a health crisis, but we had so many other crises alongside with that. So volunteering, Belinda, I'm working with France Volunteer Ghana, and we are into the recruitment and deployment of volunteers. And so volunteerism is actually at the very core or the heart of what we do. Volunteering itself, yes, we know that for most of us, it's about dedicating time to promote or project a cause, a worthy cause, or a project within an organization or a community. Now, we know volunteerism to be something we do without expecting especially financial gain. However, working with France Volunteer, I know that the French system is quite different from what we have here. So we have two categories. They are all termed volunteering, but we have what we call bénévolat and volontariat. So bénévolat is more, I think I'll translate this as being a benevolent person, where you give your time for free. You don't expect anything. However, for the volontariat aspect, you are not really considered as an employee. You are giving your time, but you are giving something. So like a stipend, or your flight may be taken care of if you're moving outside your country, or you're giving accommodation. So you're not paid for the work you do, but just something for you to live on while you, because it's a full-time commitment with us at France Volontaire. So yes, as the volunteering development officer, I help with the recruitment and deployment of volunteers here in Ghana and in France, and coordinate with different CSOs and organizations and the projects that we embark on with them. So at France Volontaire, we have different schemes. And some of these schemes are for young people, some are for old people. We even have schemes for retired people who may, you know, be because people retire below 60, but above 60, who are still energetic and want to volunteer elsewhere. So volunteering is important to our world, and anybody can volunteer. You can always avail yourself for such opportunities. And as France Volontaire, this is what we promote, and this is what we encourage. Yes, so.
Right. Thank you very much. This is very insightful. We've gotten to learn something. We'll move straight to Dr. Keze. Dr. Keze, we want to take your opinion on the topic and also the role that you play in the field of volunteerism. Right. Dr. Keze, do we have you on?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
right.
you do. Thank you. Yes, I believe you're asking me about it because I didn't get the question when you said that, or what is my perspective on volunteering?
Yes, we want your take on the topic for discussion and also the role that you
right?
in the field of volunteerism.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Dr. Casey.
Okay.
I was repeating the question to you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, and greeting from Nigeria to all the participants. You're all welcome. No, I heard the question. Thank you very much. Okay.
Right. Thank you.
So, I'm a member of IAVE, the International Association for Volunteer Effort. I'm also a member of the organization for quite a number of years right now. And we engage in quite a couple of things, mainly in bringing about volunteer change within our environment. I'm also a member of the directorate of within my workspace, actually. But the one I do nationally is Association of Nigerian Volunteers. And we do a lot of volunteer activities pro bono. And we work with a lot of youths. We do a lot of youth mentoring because every particular environment have their own as well. And one of the things that we try to enshrine in our youths, it's being good citizens and all that. So we try to work with a lot of our youths in bringing about change within the nation. So it's something that we do most of the time. Most of the volunteer work we focus on the youth, and we do a lot of helping the destitute, donations to the less privileged, doing a lot of community work like cleaning the environment and all that, and sensitizing members of the community on good health and healthy living, healthy lifestyles and all that. And we also take our time sometimes to go to some of the schools to do what we call youth mentoring, where we get to talk to youth about being good citizens, about some career prospects and all that. And sometimes we actually take some of the professionals within those fields to talk about those careers, to encourage the youth to be, to yearn to be that or to be what they are. So, and usually sometimes when we also get the opportunity to have youths or younger ones that are in such careers, we bring them because we believe that peer-to-peer influence is quite strong. So we do a lot of peer-to-peer influence. And we also carry out health talks on issues like AIDS, malaria treatment, contagious diseases and sicknesses and all that. We do a lot of health talk to improve communal living amongst our people. And also some of the things we do is what we call hospice. We visit hospitals, especially within this time as a pandemic is a little reduced because of the pandemic. But we do that as well. When we go to hospitals, sometimes we get to do some menial jobs for them. And sometimes it might just be to talk to a patient, not necessarily to be, to do any physical thing, but it could be to talk to the patient, to, be with them. Because sometimes some of these patients don't have people coming to see them. So we do a lot of that, which has to do with an emotional, to help them, to hold on to, something while going through their treatment. We also do a lot of networking with other volunteer organizations, because sometimes when we put up our programs to carry out, we go collaborate with other organizations. Sometimes some of them are like para-government organizations. So we tend to work with them so that we can also have better, organization and better projection of such programs. So, and then also we organize entrepreneurial skills development. In developing countries, so many times people are expecting or people are looking forward to government employing them. But we get to the point where we tell people, we want to develop your nation. Why don't you be an employer of labor? So we tend to tell them to, build them their capacity in skills. In fact, that's one of the things I do when I lecture with students, which I will also address at a later time within this webinar to talk about that. So we do a lot of entrepreneurial skill development, and then we encourage students to do a lot of that as much as they are getting education and getting their certificates, certain technical education, but also getting skills is a plus, is an advantage to them as well. We do also things like quizzes, debates for students, and also find ways to assist the less privileged or those that are in need of academic assistance in school, and some other things that we do. And we do a lot of, like I said, collaboration with NGOs as well. So that's like a brief of what we do here. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Wow, there's a lot going on to champion volunteerism in Nigeria. We're most grateful for sharing that with us. I'll move on to our speaker, Agnes Mensah. We want to know your take on the topic, and also what have you done in the past as far as volunteering is concerned? Any volunteering experience you want to share with us?
Very well. Thank you very much, Trewa Boateng. And I want to send greetings to everyone who has logged in and listening to us this evening. I welcome you all especially to this great program. So I work in the educational sector as a human resource professional. I work with Ghana International School. It's the leading international school in Ghana, and we are proud to say that we provide an internationally diverse school experience that instills an understanding of each other, promoting holistic development, life skills, and learning through a rigorous curriculum that meets international standards for our students. And whilst in the educational sector, I have a passion for volunteering within that sector. So in my free time, I volunteer to read to young children, school-going age, to inculcate in them the habit of reading, and also to improve on their communication skills. Besides that, I'm also engaged in mentoring of youth, especially when it comes to subject selections into the university, directing them or guiding them into their career path, to know what to do to end up being what they want, what profession they may want to pursue in future. So that is what I would say. Also in ministry at church, I also give talks to the youth as well on various topics on their well-being to help them in their various spheres of life. So that has been my experience with volunteerism. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Agnes. Indeed, all three speakers are doing awesome in the field of volunteerism. So we move on to our speakers again, and this time I want you to share your perspective on what is meant by volunteering or volunteerism. So I'll start with Madam Belinda. What is meant by volunteering in your perspective?
Thank you for the question. So volunteering really it's about having an end goal in mind, which is to achieve a particular purpose. And it begins with giving your time or resource for free. It begins with identifying a need in your community, in your church, your organization, and deciding to give your time to work to achieve or to fill the gap that is created as a result of the lack you have identified. And so volunteering really, but as I mentioned earlier, doesn't only have to do with giving your time for free. Sometimes you may get something to help you to facilitate the achievement of the goal. But really, at the end of the day, the idea of volunteering is for you to, it's not to have financial gain at the back of your mind, but that you're giving your time for free to achieve a purpose or a goal. Yeah, that's volunteering.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'll move on to Dr. Okeze to find out from your perspective what meant by volunteering.
Thank you very much. In a simple term, I would say, well, like definitely sometimes you might get some sort of would I say what do you call it? Some sort of encouragement, you know, or stipends and all that. But it's the attitude that actually makes it volunteering. You know, the attitude you put into it. That's what volunteering is about. It's about, you know, passion. It's about creativity. It's about, you know, trying to achieve a purpose in life, trying to make a change within your community or globally, you know, working towards a target, a goal, or which might at the end of the day be beneficial to you. But from the onset, the focus is not on the benefit, but the focus is on giving out to humanity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then, Les, we want to know your perspective.
Yes, from what my two co-speakers have said, they've said it all. It's about free will, it's about passion, it's about giving back to your community. You may think you don't have anything to give back, but you're giving back your time, you're giving back your creativity, you're giving back your intelligence, you're giving back your knowledge. So there's a lot to give out when it comes to volunteerism, and it's to support a worthy cause, which is being done by an institution to attain a desired goal. Usually there are societal or cultural constraints in our communities, and giving your time towards these worthy causes can help to also make our societies or communities a better place to live in for everybody.
Right, thank you. So 3 things stood out for me on their perspective. There's there's passion, and it's giving back to the community or society. Right. Dr. Okeze, we would want you to share with us some of the SDGs, which are great volunteering opportunities, and how can one take advantage of these opportunities?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would say that all of the SDGs, they're all great opportunities. Frankly, none is better than the other. All of them are great opportunities, but based on people's locality, based on the peculiarity of people's environment, there's certain there's some of the SDGs that would actually be sticking out, you know, like a sore thumb that needs to be addressed. So I'll go by that to say that within my own community, there are certain things, or there are certain issues, there are certain challenges that we see that we want to, you know, address that are in line with the SDG. And I'm also sure that in other communities and environments, there are other things that are peculiar to them. So all the SDGs are very important, but I'm narrowing it down to my own environment, Nigeria. And I'll say that some of them are quite pertinent to us here, like issues about hunger, poverty, you know, health issues, having good health and well-being, quality of education, clean water and sanitation, you know, and also collaboration with other NGOs or other groups. These are the things that I feel at the moment are core, you know, to us. And also issues about conflict and resolution for those that are also within the environments. Like for me, I'm in the eastern part of Nigeria. We have those in the northern part of Nigeria, and it's really, really pertinent that right now that issues about, you know, conflict and resolution, you know, should be addressed. So all the things have to do with people's locale, not necessarily the one that is most important at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll move to Belinda to share more light on this question and how one can take advantage of these opportunities.
Yes, I think as Doc rightly said, it's not that there is one particular SDG that's more important than the other, but depending on where you find yourself or the context. Like during COVID, we found that most of us would have said that the SDGs are important, but we're all speaking more on issues of health more than we were on, say, maybe partnerships for the goals, goal 17, or life underwater. So I think that, yes, they are all important, but as and when issues come up, we may focus more on one SDG as against another. But working with different CSOs who promote SDGs, and as an organization that promotes SDGs, I found that in the past 2 years, we were working more on SDG 5, Goal 5, which is gender equality, Goal 10, which is about reducing inequalities, and Goal 17, which is about partnership for the goals. This is because most of our volunteers are deployed to rural communities where they have to assist with the say for during COVID, especially during the lockdown. We had an organization like Young Visionary Leaders of Ghana. We had United Way Ghana, who went into communities that have more vulnerable people and more people who were prone to be left out, because we had, you know, there were lessons online for students, there were TV programs and all that, but in some of these communities, they do not have the access to internet to be able to benefit. So we had the opportunity to deploy volunteers to some of these communities, and these volunteers were recruited from within the community to help these families, these students and people who did not have access to internet, to teach them to read, to assist them to catch up with all other students like themselves. And so, yes, depending on the context, depending on the location, certain SDGs will definitely stand out. How do we take advantage? How do the young people take advantage of these opportunities? I think first and foremost about showing up when there are opportunities. And sometimes you wouldn't know the opportunities until you ask. You wouldn't know the opportunities until you search for them. And when you do, these are opportunities that help you to build skills that you would need for your career, that you need for your personal projects. And so to take advantage of these opportunities, you have to first show up, you have to be curious, and you have to ask the questions that are needed to be able to find these opportunities and to build the skills from them. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much. So there's the need to ask and there's the need to search for these opportunities. I'll move on to Madam Agnes to find out, talking about these skills. As a young graduate, as a young person seeking to succeed in his or her career, what are the essential skills needed for such a person? And in short, to say, what are employability skills? Being an HR practitioner.
Okay, so to start with, I'd like to say that employability skills are important both to get hired and also to succeed in the workplace, where we find ourselves now in the era of COVID. Most people have lost their jobs, so mainly they are highly sought after skills today, which are the soft skills pertaining to your ability to communicate and to work well with a team. They are in high demand. The employability skills for now are in high demand, and they make one a successful candidate for employment when you are job hunting or you're seeking for a promotion. So basically, employability skills are the core skills and the traits needed in every job. They are like your job readiness skills. You need to have them to be able to get employed. You need to apply the knowledge you have to solve problems. And also you should be able to fit into any work environment. Beside the soft skills, we also have professional skills that will enable you to be successful at the workplace. For example, communication skills, soft skills, for instance, would include skills like time management, networking, teamwork, creative thinking, conflict resolution. These are non-technical skills, and you need them in this era of job hunting to be able to be effective on your job. You also need to work well with people. So you need good interpersonal skills, you need to be emotionally intelligent to understand your emotions and others' emotions, to be able to work well with them. We work in a world where we have a lot of diversity. You need to understand different backgrounds to be able to work with these people. So in short, these are soft skills. They are the intangibles that we have to acquire as young graduates to be able to go job hunting or to be successful in our job search in this modern world. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Let me come back to Madame Belinda. France Volunteers as an organization has engaged people, particularly the youth, in volunteering. Could you share with us some of the skill built up by these young volunteers after going through the volunteering period with France Volunteers? We want you to throw more light on this.
Thank you. Indeed, most of our volunteers, because we often have evaluation for them, we've been able to keep track of some of these skills. And I would say communication skills is definitely one of them, especially because of the intercultural nature of the kind of volunteering opportunities we have, where they are deployed from one country to the other. And so they are working within organizations that are within cultures that are different from what they are used to. The cultural norms are different. And so they have to learn to communicate effectively with their colleagues, with their supervisors, and even with the communities in which they are deployed, because sometimes they are working on projects and they need to engage the members of those communities. And so they have to learn to communicate effectively. Then, of course, we have conflict resolution, conflict management. How do they manage conflict with their supervisors, their colleagues, the members of the communities? Because given the cultural or sociocultural context being different, sometimes there's friction. I mean, even within the same country, within the same cultural environment, there is sometimes conflict. And so having these differences, they have to learn how to approach conflict, how to deal with the issues that come up as a result of being from different cultural environments. Open-mindedness, there are definitely cultural norms that are different. And if you always, it's important to ask questions, but they have to also learn. They are challenged to learn to respect the culture of the other people, even if they don't agree with what they do. It's okay not to agree. It's okay not to practice what they do, but they learn to respect these things that are different from what they are used to. Then there's creativity and taking initiative. They have to come up with work plans. They have to build strategic plans for marketing, some for sensitization projects. And so they have to, be creative and also take initiative. And then, of course, there is public speaking, because it depends on which tasks you are given. But yes, for most of them, especially those that are sent to schools, where they have to engage like cultural ambassadors. Mostly the Ghanaians that are deployed to France are often sent to schools where they are representing Ghana as cultural ambassadors, and they have to do presentations on different cultural aspects of our country. So the music, the food, our way of dressing, the languages we have, and they have to stand in front of people. They have to give presentations or come up with exhibitions. And so these are some of the skills that throughout the volunteering process, before, during, and after, they are able to learn and use in their career after that.
Right. Thank you very much indeed. There is respect for cultural diversity, effective communication, creativity, initiative taking, strategic thinking, and inclusiveness. Wow, these are skills that some of the volunteers get to learn through volunteerism. Let me come back to Dr. Okeze. Dr. Okeze, we want you to share with us how volunteering can accelerate the achievement of the SDGs. And if you can elaborate your point with a specific SDG example? Dr. Keze.
Please, could you repeat the question?
Right. We want you to share with us in what way or form can the youth take up volunteering to accelerate the achievement of the SDG? And if you can elaborate your point with a specific SDG by sharing that experience with us.
Thank you very much. I must say that volunteering is an avenue for youth to, get themselves disciplined, streamline their patterns of life for themselves. And I've come to realize that so many times that youths are involved in volunteer activities, it helps them to develop some of these soft skills. And I've seen some of our youths when they are engaged in things like fundraising and donations, develop some sort of creative thinking to go fundraising. It takes a lot of self-discipline to equally go fundraising or to make donations, and it also takes some sort of leadership skills to go asking and then getting from people. And these are part of the things that people, when they engage in them, trying to comply with the SDG, they develop certain skills as well. And also things like being community compliant. When I say community compliant, I mean, living within the confines or within the norms of your society or your community. You see that youths, when they live that kind of lifestyle as a volunteer, they also equally develop their leadership skills. They develop ability to listen, as I say, active listening, which is also a soft skill. They also develop self-motivation to see things working within their community. And you also see such a person being flexible to leadership. And also, they're also good team players. And when you're also working towards having good community development, you're equally working towards, some of the SDG within the confines of the SDG as well. And then, which has to do with sustainable cities and communities. That's one of the SDGs. And also when you see some of these are used to participate in interactive sections, virtual or online, or also real-time participation, they tend to multitask. You see people multitasking as well. They're also like time managers equally as well. And then I would never stop talking about youth mentoring because I've seen it, transform lives within our community here in Nigeria. And then when youth, get into youth mentoring, there's a lot of teamwork, there's a self-motivation. You see people also develop empathy when they do that. You see them, because when they're experiencing some of these when they're going through some of these volunteer experiences, they learn to, develop empathy. And I've come to realize that most people cannot empathize. Sorry, most people can't empathize. And we're within the society now where so many people have lost their humanity. So actually, that soft skill, empathy, is very, very, very crucial in the life of everyone, especially with the way, globally the world is going. So empathy is one good soft skill that volunteers, youths are developing, individuals within volunteerism are developing. And this is part of what will sustain life, sustain our environment, sustain, everything around us, and also bring about, communal living amongst people as well. So we also, when we also do things like, avoiding waste as well, being sure that we are prudent with things around us, water, light, resources, green vegetation and all that. We tend to avoid waste, cutting down trees that are, living vegetations in order to encourage ozone layer and all that. All these are part of things that actually build soft skills as well. Because when you're doing that, you're also equally being, moderate in your lifestyle. It takes creativity also to do all that, to avoid waste. It takes creativity to avoid waste. It takes flexibility, it takes thinking, it takes self-motivation as well to avoid waste. So all these things are all geared towards the SDG in one way or the other. They're all geared towards the SDG. And it's good to note that volunteers, while working as volunteers, applying themselves to one thing or the other, trying to make things better within their community, trying to make things better around them, trying to foster change, within their community, which sometimes actually creates a ripple effect globally. That you see them developing soft skills that they can apply in other areas of life. They can transfer their learning to other areas of life. So that's one of the good things I've come to see about volunteering. And it also propels, our seeing the SDG being achieved before the year 2030. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me move to Belinda. Madam Belinda, what would you consider to be the role of volunteerism in contributing to the development of every nation?
Thank you for the question. There's this saying that it takes a village to raise a child. And I'm just wondering, if it takes a village to raise a child, what would it take to grow or develop a nation? It means that it will take everybody. Everybody would need to come on board, from the child born today to the old person who thinks, well, I'm almost gone and nobody has need of me. Volunteering it's like that vehicle that we need in our society to promote development. And I'm saying it is the vehicle we need in our society to promote development because let me give it this example. When I was back in school, I used to organize some of my friends. We used to go around schools we're all volunteering. We would go around schools to educate them on spinal hygiene. So we would go to the chiropractic center, go through some training and go around, sometimes speak on radio. And one time the chiropractor told me that people are more likely to believe you when you speak than they would believe me, even though he was an expert. And he said that I am in business as a chiropractor. And so anytime I show up, people would think I would say anything just to make money. But when you show up as a volunteer, people know that you mean well. It is for the good of the society or the community, and that is why you have come. And so volunteering promotes development at all levels, really. And I can give examples of some of the organizations and we work with and the volunteers that we have deployed into the organizations, or they themselves have deployed locally, recruited and deployed locally. And so we have young visionary leaders of Ghana, again, who recruit volunteers to go to schools and create awareness on the SDGs. Because really, because the SDGs are about social inclusion, they are about development, they are about ownership. If the people own the SDGs, if they know what they are about, then they can begin to take action to achieve them. But if they don't even know, we only see, on United Nations organizations and agencies in Ghana, we see colorful words and designs on their walls, but we don't know what they are. These are the SDGs. So they go to schools to sensitize them on what the SDGs are. And when they own it, when I was conducting my research for my master's, I was looking at the contribution of student hometown associations on university campuses, their contribution to development. And during COVID, we had some of these youth associations going back to their hometowns, some of them villages, to sensitize people on COVID-19. They spoke on radio, they visited homes to talk to them about the disease, how they can prevent it, how to use their mask, sanitizers, and how to wash their hands properly. What was the end goal? The end goal was to reduce the number of cases and then eventually even eradicate COVID-19 completely. Now, we may say, well, development, most of us look at infrastructural development alone, but this was a way to promote the well-being of these people. And development is also about well-being. How do the people feel? The young visionary leaders deploying volunteers to vulnerable communities and to help students and people who do not have access to internet. To which SDGs is SDG 4, promoting quality education. And so that at the end of the day, when they are back to school, they are at par with their friends and their mates who had access to the internet to learn. And so the vehicle of volunteering is very, very, very important across all sectors. Partnership for the goals. We have volunteers coming up with projects like these student groups who would go back to, as volunteers, go back to their hometowns, talk to district assemblies, and come up with programs and different ways that they can engage members of the community. And so, yes, volunteering is very important. And through all these ways, it promotes the development of the nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Okeze, let me let you also share your insights on this question. how volunteerism can promote national development.
Thank you very much. I must tell you that there's so many ways that volunteering can help national development. But first of all, I would say that sometimes people expect or think that they have to do something very big or astronomical before they can make impact nationally. But I believe that an individual, 2 people, 3 people can make a transformation, can make a change. And I know that individually, or youth can identify with a volunteer need, within the community, whatever is within his immediate environment that he sees is necessary, that needs change, one person can start it, one person can initiate it. The ability to initiate is very important in volunteering. You don't have to wait for others. You don't have to wait for people to come and join you. You can start it off, and before you know it, others might join. And who knows, it can actually bring about a total transformation within the community. So what can we do, or how can somebody, or what can individuals do, or what can be done to bring about national change? I believe individually we can make a change. As much as we understand that collectively we can actually bring about change, but an individual can always make a change. Another thing is identifying with an already existing volunteer group. We can never underplay or downplay networking or working with groups or working with other people or collaborating with other people is a very strong force in volunteerism. Identify with other people. Do not be an island. See what others are doing. Find out how they were doing it and find out why it is working for them. Find out their pitfalls and avoid those pitfalls, or improve on those pitfalls so that you can do it better, so you can make a better change. When you see others have invented a wheel, you don't have to go inventing another wheel. Why don't you just ride on the wheel they have invented and see whether you can get something better than a wheel out of it? So so many times people want to cut a fish for themselves and say, I want to be, exclusive. Fine, exclusivity is good, but at the same time, working together with others, with a vision others have, and upholding other people's vision to bring about yours is one of the, cardinal points, or one of the important things that can actually bring about national change. Another thing that we can do as volunteers is to sensitize, people.
Dr. Keze, do we still have you on the line? Well, I think enough has been shared on this. Dr. Keze, did you end your submission?
Yes, I did. Thank you. I think that's about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll move on to Madam Agnes, and it will cut across the entire speakers. Some youth might say, I love volunteerism, but I don't know how to go about it. Could you briefly guide such a person on how to go about it?
Very well. So from the submissions that the other speakers mentioned about, it's about curiosity, it's about passion. It's about wanting to contribute to the society. So the first thing is about knowledge acquisition. You need to find out what is out there I can contribute to. And to find out, you can always have a Google search. There are so many voluntary organizations that have worthy causes they are pursuing to help the society in terms of meeting the SDG goals. We have the CENVAST, which is a social transformation organization with very many programs on board. You can always, get on board to assist to develop your volunteering skills. So the starting point is always having that hunger to contribute or to give your quota back to society.
Right. Thank you. I'll throw the same question to Madame Belinda on how one can take advantage of volunteerism to become a volunteer.
Yes, thank you. I think that as Madame Agnes rightly said, I think for me, the beginning is curiosity. Once you identify that you want to do this or that there is a need in society, you ask questions. What can I do? So wherever you find yourself, it could be in church, it could be in the office, it could be in school. What can I do? But also availing yourself when there are the opportunities. Sometimes we hesitate. Is this for me? And sometimes you find out what is for you in doing what you are not even sure about. And so when the opportunity there is the opportunity, avail yourself. And really, it doesn't always have to be with big organizations like with France Volontaire or with.
Yes, Dr. Keze. The question is, one might say, I'm interested in volunteerism, but I don't know how to go about it. So we just briefly want you to guide such a person on how to go about it.
Okay. Yes. When somebody is eager to volunteer, the opportunities will always be, because for you to desire volunteering, it means that you're seeing some things that you want to transform, or things that you want to drive that might be looking straight at you that you want to change. And I will always tell people, start from where you are. Like Madam Belinda said, you don't have to be working for a big multinational organization before you can make a change. Start from where you are. Sometimes the people at the grass foundation where the bigger ones can build on. So start where you are. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid of what tomorrow might bring, of failure, or what are they going to say. There's so many things that people can do. I see people going about picking bags, because they are not degradable. People pick them up to recycle them, and with it, before you know it, people are hearing about them on the internet. People are hearing about them, on national news. But they started somewhere, and probably when they started, nobody knew they were doing that. So start from where you are. And another thing is to look for people of like mind, and associate with them. There's a saying that if you want to fly like an eagle, you better start moving with the eagles. Do not go hanging with the turkey. So you must actually find people of like mind and identify, connect with them in what they are doing, and learn from them as well, and apply what you have learned into your own area of endeavor. And also another thing is to, do it little by little. It must not be a big one, but every little impact creates a change. Every little impact creates a change. Follow your drive, follow your passion, follow whatever you think would always make a change. Initiate it. Do not wait for anything. Do not wait for another person. Another thing is to believe in community development activities. Involve yourself in community development activities. So many times we Africans, we do not actually know that some of the things that we do within our communities are part of the volunteering. Sometimes we come out to clean our community. Sometimes we come out to clean our environment. Sometimes we come out with the youth to do one thing or the other for our village. That is community development project. You are volunteering. You're doing it pro bono. Nobody is paying you for that. So actually you are volunteering. It's just that maybe nobody has gone to chronicle the activities to put it up to say we volunteered here. So many times we volunteer. You help some elderly people carry some loads to where they're going. You visit some people at home, you help them get water. You help some youth learn a particular, would I say sports without getting paid. That is volunteering. We do a lot of it so many times without knowing that we're doing it. So, but what we have to do is now be conscious that you are volunteering. So many times we are not conscious of the fact that what we're doing is a voluntary activity. But maybe now we have to be conscious of the fact that what I am doing is actually volunteering. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, every little impact creates a change. Participants are encouraged to drop their questions in the chat box. We'll soon be moving into the question and answer segment. I would want to find out from Madam Agnes, what piece of advice would you give to the youth, particularly young graduates pursuing a career? Is there any special skill needed to become a volunteer?
You may not need any special skill to become a volunteer. All you have to do is become available. Whilst you are on the field volunteering, you rather have the opportunity to build and develop essential skills that are, I would say, are transferable skills. Because once you gain strong communication skills, you gain team building skills, critical thinking skills, these are all essential for employers, and you can apply them in any job, in any industry at all. So you have to volunteer your time to be able to build these essential employability skills. Communication skills is a plus, and it ranks highly on every evaluation assessment in an interview session. You need to communicate well verbally. You need to let your employer or employer to be know that you are confident in understanding questions, concerns of clients, having a good listening ear, and able to comply with their employer's directions. Employers will look out for that. So you gain a lot of transferable skills whilst you're volunteering your time. Leadership skills is also a very important skill, soft skill, I would say, employers will look out for when you're, or which you will gain when you are volunteering. Conflict resolution and how to collaborate with other people is also a very essential skill you build during your volunteering period, and you're able to transfer these skills onto the job when you're being hired. And you have to put all these transferable skills in a CV when you apply or intend to apply for a job, because your CV is a direct representation of your personality or what your competencies are on paper. So you need to couch your CV very well with these skills you would have gained whilst volunteering to be able to attract the eye or catch the eye of your would-be employer to be granted an interview. And during an interview as well, you should also exhibit good communication skills, both written, verbal, and non-verbal. You need to keep good eye contact, for instance, to maintain good your confidence with your panel members, your sitting posture, your gestures. They are all important. And these skills are the things you would acquire when you work with other people in a volunteering session, and they are high-class transferable skills when you come onto the job market. So that's
Right.
what I would like to say. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Let me move on to Madame Belinda. Anything to add? Is there any particular skill that one needs to become a volunteer?
I think Madame Agnes has mentioned many of the skills you would gain from volunteering. I think that to volunteer, especially with France Volunteer Ghana, what you really need is your availability. Are you available? For most of the schemes we have, that is the number one thing. Are you available? Because if we are taking you to outside your country to volunteer elsewhere, then it means you should be available for that time frame. And so your availability is one. Even if it's within your community, even if it's within your church, are you available? So that we don't give you a task and we never see you. So you have to be available. That's one. You have to be teachable, because the goal is to help achieve or to help a worthy cause. But you also have personal goals. You also have skills that you're going to acquire. So are you teachable? Can we speak into your life, if I should put it that way? Can we correct you when you make mistakes? Are you open to being taught? So that is one. And your willingness to learn. Your willingness to learn from your colleagues, learn from supervisors. And even if you are launching out on your own, Doctor mentioned that if you find a need in your community, you don't have to wait for others. You can, yes, even if you are launching out on your own, you still need to be willing to learn, because it involves people. No matter what it is you are doing, recycling, whether it is going out to teach, you are still going to encounter people, and you should be open-minded. You should be teachable and willing to learn from everybody that comes your way. So I would say these are some of the skills that you need to be a good volunteer.
Right, thank you. Availability and the willingness to learn is very important to be a volunteer. Right, let me move on to Dr. Okeze. Dr. Okeze, I want to find out from you, what has helped you get to where you are, and what will be the advice you will give to those who want to advance in their career?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
The question is, what has helped you to get to where you are? And what piece of advice would you give to others who want to advance in their career?
Okay, what has helped me to get to where I am right now? First of all, I must say that I started volunteering as a very young person. My mother was the one that introduced me to volunteering. When she registered me, I was actually not aware of the impact or the what I was going to learn from it. But over the years, I realized, I could see myself, doing volunteer work, and it has become a part of me, and it has brought me to where I am right now in volunteering. So I would always tell people, start young, start early, even as we are right now, involve your children in it. As they are children, they are willing and eager to go with you. Before you know it, it becomes a part of them. They roll into it. So that's how I started. I started, because my mother took me to it. And over time, I started appreciating it. I started enjoying it. So I'll always advise people, get into it early, or get your family members, your loved ones into it early. And what would I also advise people to do as volunteers? Always be willing to learn. Always be willing to learn, always be flexible to change, always be open to correction, and be sensitive as well. And also, so many times people are so rigid, they're not eager. And I've noticed so many things about people right now. We should learn to be meek. So many times people find it difficult to be humble to hear. So many people are haughty. They are not, down to earth to hear what you have. They feel that they have it all, that they know it all. But we should be eager and willing to learn. If you want to be a good volunteer, you must be willing to learn. You must be open to correction. You must be flexible. You must be, good at hearing. You must be quick, swift to hear, and also, be very observant as well. We should be open, to things around us, situations around us, and then, like I keep saying, start small. You don't have to start big, but if you start small, you can always progress. And who knows where tomorrow will take you? That's about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll throw this question to Madame Belinda to also share her view on it. What has helped you and your advice?
I think that I started volunteering quite young as well. We grew up on a university campus, University of Education Kumasi campus, because my dad was lecturing there. And for church service, there were no children because they were all university students, but my dad took us there. And so we were the only children, 3 of us, my brothers and I. So we found ourselves volunteering for different things. Okay, we want to help with this. We want to, I remember they used to write the prayers for me, go in front and pray until I could say my own prayers, and then nobody wrote them for me. We would volunteer to read the Bible, to drum, to do this, join the choir. And that's where I learned some of the skills like public speaking, taking initiative and all that. And so all my life, really, recently I was updating my CV and I said, I did this, I did that. And most of the experiences I find on my CV were all experiences that skills that I acquired through my experiences volunteering. University of Ghana, I was volunteering. I would go to RUDEP, to rural communities where we would embark on sensitization projects. There will be health sessions. We would have, we would teach in schools in rural communities. And that's why I developed the love for organizing projects in rural communities, because I realized through volunteering there that most of these rural communities have young people who are still, if I should use the word, malleable. In the urban centers, we are touched by the technology and the internet and all that, but over there they are still very meek and humble, and still it's easier to pour into them. It's easier to mold them. And so it is through volunteering that I realized, this is actually an area that I would like to invest in. And also in church, even where I find myself now, last year, I realized that when the students finish senior high school, they stay home for a while before they go to school. Why don't we engage them? So we came up with the Youth Empowerment Program 21, and this year we are going to have the Youth Empowerment Program 22. The same for people in the informal sector. I realized, when we have career forums and conferences, we target people who have formal education, people who are working in the corporate world. But what about those who have not had formal education, or who have had formal education but are working in the informal sector? So we came up with Kingdom Business, where we equip them with some skills. We brought resource persons, but all these were because I just have the love for volunteering. And when I come up with an idea, and as Doctor said, once you have the desire and the drive, you would find the opportunities. So I always found the opportunities to volunteer. And so, yeah, volunteering has been a part of my life right from childhood. And I know that I'm going to continue volunteering. And as I mentioned, curiosity earlier, I got the opportunity to volunteer with France Volunteer in France because I was just curious. I saw this small office. I said, okay, let me go and ask about what they do. I walked in, then they told me. And then a few months down the line, I saw a call for applications. I applied and I was selected to volunteer. And on my return, I was recruited to join the organization. And I've been working with them for over 2 years now. And so, yeah, this is how it has worked for me. And I know that for many of our participants here, they may have similar experiences, or those who are new to volunteering, perhaps they can learn from some of these experiences. Thank you.
Right, thank you. We are about wrapping up to move into the question and answer segment. But let me ask from Dr. Okeze, what should institutions or educational agencies do to encourage volunteerism in their respective areas to support youth development?
Sorry, could you say that? Can you repeat yourself, please?
Yes, the question is, what should institutions or educational agencies do to encourage volunteerism to support youth development?
Well, actually, here in Nigeria, so many institutions, so many schools actually have what we call clubs, fan clubs of so many voluntary organizations like the Red Cross Society, Rotary Cross Society, Girls Guide, Boy Scouts, Man of War. So these are the ways students are, and some of them have actually left university and also maintained being part of that's what they do. They have fan clubs, what we call fan clubs, for them. And then where I work, the institution I work, Alvan, like I said, we have what we call Directorate of Alvan Volunteer Services. That one is for academic staff of the school. And then, like I said, we get into literacy and all that, organizing quizzes, debates, all those kind of things to encourage literacy among students. But amongst our students as well, we try to encourage them in so many other ways. Like for me personally, I teach guidance and counseling. Whenever I get into my class, one of the first things I do to my students, I tell them, yes, I have a PhD, but at the same time, I like to do me. And then some of them, you probably will notice that some of them will be a bit shy, timid to talk about, their skill, but they see the way I encourage them and they are proud to say, I'm a plumber. I joined my father to do plumbing. I do hairdressing. I bake, I make clothes, I do nails, I do makeup, all those things. And I say, that's good. And then for those that are not into any form of skill, I tell them, learn from your colleagues, learn from your classmates, so that by the time you're leaving school, you would have acquired one skill or the other. Like for me, I'm a professional tailor as well. I love to make clothes. I make clothes. I started that. It was a passion I followed. And I never knew I could make money out of it, but I just learned it. I had always loved seeing people sewing clothes. So I will always tell my students, yes, I have a PhD, but I make clothes beautifully well. I thought, and they're like, they're all wow. They're like, I tell them, learn something. So I try to do that every time I get into a new class. Or the other. You see them proficient in one skill or the other. Teach my students. I try to encourage them to do that. Oh, sorry. Are you hearing me? Did you lose me there?
No, it's fine. You were on.
Okay. So that's how I get my students to acquire skills before they leave school. And I've seen so many of them, move from zero to, a high degree of proficiency in a particular skill before they leave school. So, and then I also encourage them to do some sort of community development as well. So we try to do that as individuals amongst ourselves, and then the school as well tries to do that. But I would also would want to encourage, would I say, if we could get to the point where schools would have it as a curriculum within the school system. Like I'll cite an example. In Australia, I know that for you to graduate from the university, you must put in some hours of voluntary work or you do not graduate. It's a course, you must do it. And without that, you cannot get a certificate in your field of study. So if actually we could also imbibe that in the school curriculum, it's going to generate better citizens amongst us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll throw this question to Belinda to also share her view on it. Madam Belinda.
Yes, I think that institutions and educational agencies can partner with volunteering organizations to provide such opportunities for young people. I know that for the University of Ghana, they advertise some of these opportunities via email. So students who check their email all the time have the opportunities available to them to volunteer with big organizations, small organizations. It could be an individual looking for, well, it could be internships as well. So volunteering opportunities and internships for young people. So there could be that aspect. We can also have organizations advertising these opportunities, make them available, because sometimes a person can walk in and say, well, I'm available and I would like to volunteer. So, okay, we can take you on. How about if they would also put it out there so that it's more accessible to everybody? Even if I'm far away today with the internet, it's possible to volunteer online for an organization and can still build some skills from volunteering online. We could also have seminars, career days and conferences, career week. I know University of Ghana does that. That's where I attended, so I can speak for University of Ghana. They have such opportunities where they bring people from the corporate world, CSOs, government bodies, international organizations to make known their mission and vision and the activities they have, and how young people, especially students, can take advantage of these missions and volunteer to build skills and to build capacity. So these are some of the ways that I think that organizations and institutions can support youth development as far as volunteering is concerned.
Right, thank you. And I'll move on to Madam Agnes to also share her view on this question.
So from my viewpoint is not very different from what Belinda and Dr. have shared. What I want to add on is that most at times employers will look for work experience from potential employees they want to engage. So for institutions and agencies, they could also do the partnership that my colleagues have mentioned. In terms of volunteer fairs, there can be a fair where we have various volunteer organizations depending on what industry the institution is into. And you can invite volunteers in various, from various sectors within that industry so that they can also engage with the students to give them some experience that will develop these skills we've talked about, so that for the organizations, it can be a recruitment strategy for them when they are coming from volunteer organizations. For instance, you know that they would have acquired certain skills that would help in the employer's firm. So I would really encourage organizations and agencies to give out as their corporate social responsibility by partnering with volunteer institutions to hold career fairs. And at the end of the day, they could also have a recruitment strategy of taking on these volunteers as their staff in their various institutions to help in our youth development in terms of employment.
Right. Thank you very much, my speakers. We are very appreciative of your contributions. We'll now move on to the question and answer segment. I have seen 2 questions in the chat box, which I'll read out and then it will be addressed accordingly. So the first question from Novisi Quaid says that apart from volunteering relating to social and educational development, apart from volunteering with CSOs or NGOs in areas relating to social and educational opportunities, in areas relating to social, educational development and community advancement, how can one volunteer with corporate or public organizations to acquire relevant skills and also help to close the gaps that internships or national service gaps opportunity when sometimes, okay, so let me take it again. Apart from volunteering with CSOs or NGOs in areas relating to social and educational to close the gaps that internship national service may not close, how would someone who doesn't have a degree yet take advantage of these opportunities? Please, I hope the question is clear now. I would want Madam Agnes to take this question.
All right, okay. So I think my understanding of the question is that besides NGOs, which corporate institutions can you volunteer with to gain the skills, the soft skills we've talked about, or professional skills we've talked about as an undergraduate? Is that the question, Madam Trewa?
Yes, please.
All right, okay. So my take on the question is that it's about developing the skills. So irrespective of whether it's an NGO or a corporate institution, your priority should be about gaining the skills that employers look out for. You may gain those skills with an NGO and end up working in a corporate institution. And to tell you the truth, most corporate institutions are so heavily choked that they don't have space to take on interns, let alone volunteers. But there's so much space within the NGO or CSO sector to take up such opportunities for volunteerism. And you can equally develop these skills that the employers are looking out for. So I would encourage you, if you have the opportunity to work as a volunteer in a corporate institution, you'll be very fortunate. But if that opportunity doesn't come to you, I plead with you, you don't sit down. You could also equally engage with an NGO or a voluntary organization, and you could equally build these skills that are very essential and employers look out for. So I encourage you to be very open-minded and open as to acquiring these employability skills wherever it comes from, be it corporate and non-corporate, NGO, church, anywhere you find yourself is about building the skills and not necessarily from a corporate institution. So be open-minded and just avail yourself and learn as much as you can from wherever you find yourself as a volunteer. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Madam Belinda, there's a question here being addressed to you. Is there a cutoff age for volunteering? Do volunteer organizations have an age range for volunteering?
Thank you. This is a beautiful question. Is there a cutoff age? I think it depends on the scheme, at least with France Volontaire Ghana. So we have opportunities for young people between 18 and 25. And this is for Service Civique. And with Service Civique, if you're more than 25, you do not qualify. If you're less than 18, you do not qualify. We have one called Volunteerism of International Solidarity. Now with Service Civique, we don't look out for any skill sets. The only qualification is to be between the age range I've mentioned, 18 to 25. With Volunteerism of International Solidarity, however, you need skill set or expertise in a particular field. So if, for instance, we need somebody with expertise in communication or somebody from the engineering field, then it means that you must have experience and qualification from, or your background must be from communication or for engineering. That is for Volunteerism of International Solidarity. We have Solidarity Leave. These are opportunities for people who are already working and they are going on leave or sabbatical or whatever break it is, and they decide, okay, instead of going on vacation to France to see the Eiffel Tower or whatever, I choose to go to use that time that I have to volunteer with an organization or with a community. So that is known as Solidarity Leave. We also have opportunities where people use like minimum 1 week to a month, where they help. So with this, you don't necessarily have to have a particular skill set or age range. This one is open to all. You visit communities where you help with construction work. So it may be renovation of a school or hospital or library, or a construction of a school, library, a hospital. You can paint, you can. So this more has more to do with construction. I would only just add that for the young people here, there are so many opportunities, whether volunteering, internships, scholarships, that have age ranges, that have cutoff points, and mostly they favor young people. So it means that for most of these opportunities, just by virtue of the fact that you are young, you are you qualify. Just by virtue of the fact that you are young, you qualify. And so leverage the opportunities that come your way as a result of your youth. It is a time for learning. It's a time for building skills. It's a time for networking. It's a time for building capacity for where you are going. And so make use of the opportunities that come your way, your immediate environment, whether they are far away, whether it's online. Make use of all the opportunities available to you because of your age. Because there's going to come a time where you want to go to school, you need a scholarship, and they'll say, well, the age range, the cutoff point is 25 or 30. And you realize, okay, I can't, I don't qualify for this, but I could have if I had applied earlier, or if I had made use of my youthful days. Or you may find an opportunity where, of course, there are other opportunities with cutoff points that are for much older people, but the majority of such opportunities, volunteering, internships, scholarships, are for younger people. So make use of this time, build the capacity, make use of the opportunities that come your way. And mostly, as I said, the qualification is, are you between this age and that age, which is mostly for people who are young like you. So leverage the opportunities that your youth bring to you. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. So there's a question I would want to throw to Dr. Okeze. It says, NGOs mainly thrive on volunteerism and the passion towards a cause, but sometimes projects may require some financial commitments. So how do we go about that?
Question again, please.
The question is, NGOs mainly thrive on volunteerism and the passion towards a cause, but sometimes projects may require some financial commitments. And when that happens, what do we do? How do we go about it?
Yeah, very true. You know, passion is a drive. Sometimes we need some sort of financial commitment to help. The financial commitment I believe you're talking about on the part of the volunteers in getting involved in the voluntary work. Yes, sometimes it actually needs some sort of a financial commitment. That's one of the challenges that we face as volunteers most of the time. And sometimes it actually hinders, or would I say stall, some of our, capacity to volunteer, or some of our ability to assist in what we want to do, or to carry out the work that we want to carry out. So, and that is where sometimes I would say sponsorship can come in. That sometimes we have, because I know that there are some people, individuals, philanthropists that help volunteers. There's sometimes, like in Nigeria here, for us, sometimes the government might want to help, sponsor some of the volunteers to carry out some of the activities, So, but those are the challenges we face as volunteers. And sometimes, yes, the financial constraints really, really poses some serious issues for most of us, really. I must say that. But and sometimes actually affects, productivity as volunteers. And sometimes you see yourself lose out an opportunity to assist or to help, carry out a particular project. But those are the things that we do, and we quite understand that we see it every day. We face it every day. It's a challenge because it's something that people do without getting paid. So, and sometimes we put in our own finances to see these works, come to fruition. And that's what volunteering is about, sacrificing what you have. And that's why we say it's selfless. But sometimes volunteers need motivation, to bring about, the change, or the more needed change, in the society. And that's why sometimes there's some agencies that actually give provisions or assist to a degree, give some sort of, what I say, partial assistance to the volunteers. But really, that's the challenge we face. And somehow we try to find a way to jump the hurdle.
Right. Thank you very much. In my chat box, there's a Last question, and then we open the floor. If anybody has a question, the hand can be raised so that we call you to ask your question. So the final question in my chat box says that we're losing the spirit of volunteerism among the youth. What do you suggest we do as a government, corporate agencies, individuals to promote volunteerism in Ghana? So I'll throw that question to Belinda. I think much has been mentioned on that, just to give a brief highlight on this one.
Thank you for the question. I think for governments, so I'm going to take a governments, corporate organizations, and individuals. For governments, I think that France Volunteer is an international organization, and we have representations in different countries. And I find that interacting with colleagues from other countries, it is easier, their work is easier because they have national voluntary organizations. Like, for instance, Togo, the national representation, the representative for France Volunteer Ghana is the same for Togo, and he's actually based in Togo, but he coordinates both countries. And there's it's called l'agence ANVT, it's called l'Agence Nationale de Volontariat Togolais. So the national volunteering organization in Togo, and this is by the government. So they deploy volunteers, they recruit them and all that. It makes it easier for even the other organizations, private organizations and NGOs that are working with volunteers, because it means there's a national body. There are policies that are in place to ensure that volunteering works smoothly within the country. We don't have it in Ghana. And so I think that this is something we are trying to encourage, that France Volunteer is also engaged in advocacy. So recently for the National Voluntary Reviews for the SDGs, we put together an advocacy document which is submitted on the role or contribution of volunteering and volunteers to Ghana's attainment of the SDGs. And so this is something that we are working and partnering with organizations on. We are working with the National Service Secretariat now to see how we can partner with the ANVT in Togo and see how we can set up a volunteering agency in Ghana as well. So we have already begun the first contact, and negotiations interaction is in place. For corporate organizations, I think it is opening their doors to volunteers. It is advertising these opportunities and roles and creating space for them, because Madam Agnes mentioned that, it's choked and it's so difficult, but sometimes we can create space for them, especially because we are not necessarily paying them. I also understand that you don't want to bring somebody and the person has nothing to do, which is true, because you want them to leave with having learned something. But if we add that to our goal for the year, the strategic plan that we have, we create space for such for volunteers, or such opportunities for volunteers, then it means that we are creating opportunities for more people to volunteer, because these opportunities are available. And then for individuals, Dr. Okeze mentioned that she started volunteering as a child because her mom introduced her to it. I think that it starts with you, it starts with me as individuals. The lady or the guy who asked this question is an individual. So from you, right where you are planted, right where you find yourself, you take a step, you make a move, and then others will be drawn to you, or you can then draw others along with you. So wherever you find yourself as an individual, there are always opportunities, but you have to start. And I would appeal to even parents here. Sometimes how we train our children at home determines whether they will go out and be willing to volunteer or not. So if you tell Kofi or Kojo or Agnes or Belinda to lay her bed, and then she asks you why she should lay her bed, and then at the end of the day she lays the bed, and you always have to give her something to appreciate what she's done. At some point she begins to think that every time I do something I have to gain, whether it's a financial gain or some other material benefits. But if we make Ajoa, Kofi, Belinda, Agnes aware that laying your bed or sweeping the house, for instance, or throwing the garbage away helps all of us to live in a clean house. It benefits you, Belinda, but it also benefits your brothers, your sisters, your parents. Then already at that age, they are beginning to cultivate the communal living, the spirit of communal living, and the contribution of themselves as individuals to the growth and development of this community, that is the family unit. And so from there, when they go to school, they are going to, when we are sweeping, it's not because I've been told to sweep, but I understand that when I sweep, it benefits me, it benefits my neighbor. And so subsequently, with different opportunities that come their way, they would not always be looking for rewards, but they will be looking for opportunities to serve. So I think that at the individual level, these are some of the things that we can do. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Belinda. There's a message in the chat box from Patience texting. I want to believe it's a comment that says implementing these ideas will really impact lives. We'll open the floor. If there's any question, you can just raise your hand and then we'll call you to ask your question. Before we take the closing remarks from our speakers and then bring the session to an end. Do we have any further questions from our participants? Right. On this note, we'll take closing remarks from our speakers. We'll start with Madam Agnes Mensah. Your closing remarks.
Okay, I'll be very brief about this because we've said a whole lot, and I want our listeners to take away the fact that volunteerism starts with you, and there's always something to give back to society. And there's so many opportunities you have available to gain from being a volunteer. I, for one, would have to say that my current job I have with Ghana International School was because I worked just 6 months in a nursery school assisting. And that having that on my CV gave me an opportunity to be shortlisted, to be interviewed, and I got the job. So don't take for granted any little thing that you do. You never know what opportunities and doors it will open up for you. So give your best to anything where you find yourself, any opportunity, and the rewards are endless. And I wish everybody well, and thank you for also listening. I pray that we all go back to be volunteers in great ways as we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Agnes Mensah. We'll take Dr. Okeze's closing remarks.
Yes, thank you very much. I would also want to say that volunteering, I keep telling people, is a lifestyle. We must come to the point where we live, breathe, and eat volunteering. It's something that, come sunshine, come rain, volunteering is there. We always, there are so many opportunities. It's there. It all depends on our seeing and opening our eyes to see that there are so many ways and so many areas that we can actually put in our time, invest energy, invest manpower, to see a transformation. It might not be seen by others. People might not even observe it, but because you're living it as a lifestyle, it becomes, it begins to transform you and transform your environment. And if we all could start living like that, I believe the world would be a better place for us all to live in. So volunteering has to do with, thinking of others. I wouldn't say forget about yourself, but thinking of others, considering others, having, putting a face to situations of life. It makes us more human. It makes us more real. Yeah, I'm done actually, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you. We're grateful. Right, Belinda, you have the floor now.
Yes, I'd just like to say to the young people here that France Volontaire has different opportunities, and you can, for those of you who know Alliance Française, you can pass by, that's where my office is, and we can talk more about volunteering and the opportunities available. So my last words would be that be open, be available, be willing to look around you, and that you definitely find opportunities. And remember that no contribution, no matter how small, is insignificant to effecting change in your environment. And no skill, no matter how irrelevant you think it is to your future career goals and paths, is useless, because at the end of the day, any skill acquired anywhere for whatever reason is important in your career path, is important in developing our world. So leverage your youth. For the young people here, leverage the opportunities that come as a result of being young, and take use of all the ones that come your way. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much, renowned and experienced speakers. This has really been insightful. We are very appreciative of your contributions and making this webinar a success. We thank you for your time. Indeed, your insightful submissions, we really appreciate. To our participants, there couldn't have been this webinar without you. And so we say thank you and thank you for being interactive. We are hopeful that the spirit of volunteerism has been triggered, and therefore we are going to have a number of you venture into volunteerism for the development of our continent. We're most grateful. Thank you all for participating. You can follow us on our media handles. To the participants, CENVAST, you can follow us on all social media handles. Thank you.